Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, if you could be so kind as you come in, if you could make sure you hit that thumbs up button, I will greatly, greatly appreciate that. That helps me to stay suggested on the in the YouTube algorithm. It is nurturing conversations time. Tonight's topic is who are you without trauma? I'm going to go ahead and get my disclaimers out the way, and then we're going to hop right into the conversations. I do not tolerate disrespect. That is in any way, shape, form, or fashion. That is towards me, towards anyone that appears on the screen, towards anyone that appears in the chat. You are a month and 5 days into 2023. If you have not decided to change your life for the better, if you have not decided to deal with your traumas, stick around because hopefully by the end of this conversation, you will be inspired to change. I would normally tell you to leave, but it's 2023. You will be inspired to change. There will be tears. I'm talking about a conversation that I've had with myself. So there is most definitely going to be tears. I am not a mental health professional. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you are not alone. I know it might seem like you are the only person on this great big old world that is going through what you are going through at this particular time, but I'm here to tell you, you are not alone. I'm just choosing to talk about my issues, traumas, things of that nature, because I want you to know that you're not alone. And number two, you can overcome anything that life throws at you. Hi, I'm a living witness for that. What else? My opinions are my opinions. Your opinions are your opinions. We are here to have a nurturing conversation regarding our opinions so that we can better understand each other as human beings. I feel like a lot of times we don't understand each other because we don't even take the time to talk to each other. Hence the Nurturing Conversations podcast. That's all for my disclaimers right now. If I think of any more, I will most definitely let you know that this is part of a disclaimer. Okay, tonight's topic is who are you without your traumas? Now, like many of the topics that I have, this would be number 67 to be exact. Um, I'm super happy about that number because I'll tell y'all about it as we go on. This is episode number 67, and many of the topics I develop from having conversations with myself. Conversations where I wish somebody would talk to me or would have let me know or gave me a heads up or any one of those things. So I thought if I feel like this, I'm not saying you per se feel like this, but I'm pretty sure it probably crossed your mind once or twice. And so over the last 3 years now, it's since the start of the pandemic, I've been on a journey of healing and self discovery. And it might sound trivial to you, but it was important for me to get to that person that I was before life took its toll on me, right? Because sometimes when life take a toll on us, we become a victim of our circumstances. We become someone who's guarded, who's protected, someone who's doesn't tolerate shit from anybody. Oh, I forgot to say. Here's another disclaimer. I told you I was gonna say it. There will be curse words. I'm not gonna say every other word is a curse word, but there will be some. Um, but I began to ask myself. Actually, this topic came as a result of one of the other episodes. And I asked myself this question: who would I be without my trauma? And yes, the trauma has made me to be more resilient, more persistent. It has, fostered that in me. However, I was a great person before all of the traumas. I was a really great person. I was loving, I was caring, I was kind, I was compassionate. And I'm not saying like I'm not now. I'm just letting you know, like previous to the traumas, I was that person. So when I decided to go on a journey of healing and self-discovery, I had started to realize that the things that I experienced in my life had caused me to become a little jaded with humanity. And I'm giving y'all 100% transparency. And this is why I said there will be tears, because I get emotional when I talk about things like this. Okay. So I'm like, I need to heal. And I know when you hear the word heal, you just like, oh, it magically disappears. It never disappears. No God, no deity, no situation can ever take it away from you. You just learn ways to not be um, quick to respond to it. So I started the journey of the healing and self discovery, and I was transported back to the age when I was 8 years old. 8 years old is when my life got flipped upside down. Eight. Um, I went through the process of like where like fear was introduced, where the independence of I have to take care of myself. I'm 8. I'm a child. I should be playing with Barbie dolls, or actually it was My Little Ponies at that time, but I should have just been doing that, playing games and makeup, playing with all of the kids stuff, you know. But at 8 years old, I'm not going to say I became an adult because I was 8, but you know what I'm saying. I was introduced to a world that, of course, shouldn't have never happened, but it did. And that sent me on a journey of understanding um, or being exposed to love in the form of sex, being exposed to adulthood at an age where I, again, should have just been watching cartoons and playing with people in my neighborhood and jumping rope, skipping rocks, double dutch. That's what I should have. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did learn those things, but I was navigating life with a secret. Ooh. I was never navigating life with a secret. And it wasn't necessarily a secret because I definitely told someone that what was going on with me. But here's so there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to talk about in this conversation that we're having. And if at any time it touches you, or um, I was gonna say, like, you know, in church, if you ever go to church and they be like, if the message hits you, say ouch, but don't say ouch. I just want you to put a heart in the just put a heart in the chat. Okay. So I was navigating through life from the age of 8 until I want to say 30s, mid 30s. I was navigating through life. Wait, what the hell am I talking about? Mid 30s. I only just start talking about it. I literally just started talking about it when I turned 40. I told someone when I was younger, and then it was that moment that like changed the trajectory of my life because I began to internalize everything else that happened to me. It's like, you know, you telling people, it's like, hey, this has happened to me. And they were like, I don't know why this happens, right? You tell someone something happens to you, and then instead of like understanding what happened to you or having compassion for you, you are berated with questions of why would they. So what happened to me was I told someone that someone had taken my innocence, and there was no compassion for me. It was more so compassion for the person who did it to me, the individual that molested me. There was more so compassion for them. And for me, that was devastating. I was devastated. You ever have an adult tell you, if anything happened to you, if anybody touched you inappropriately, tell me and we're going to make sure we do something. And then you tell the adults that somebody did something inappropriately. And then the first thing is, I just can't believe that that happened. I don't believe that they would do something like that. And then it was like, but why would they choose you? That question. You ever see the meme on Instagram, and it's like, what is the one sentence, or it's like a question, what is the one sentence that you've heard that will stick with you for the rest of my or your life? And is that for me? Why would they choose you? Hell if I know. It wasn't like, oh, let me put these barrettes and bobos in my hair and put my little lace socks on so I can make sure that you gon'. It wasn't none of that for me. I was just being a child doing what children do. So having that discussion, having that non-nurturing conversation, I just said, fuck it. I'm not going to tell anybody what happened to me. I'm just going to hold it down. I'm going to stand 10 toes down in whatever I go through, and that's just what it's going to be. And so as I journey through life, shit started to happen. And the people, I grew up in a family where we talked about everything. I grew up at a time when my grandmother would cook not just Sunday dinner, she cooked every day. So every time we came home from school, it was food. It was you sitting down at the table, everyone is sitting down at the table, and it's how was your day? What's going on? How is basketball? How is whatever you were doing, right? I said to myself, people had to notice that I went from outgoing, fun loving, talking to everybody, just that child, to just like silent, staying in my room, not want to go places, not want to do anything. Like I'm pretty sure they noticed that. And I'm saying that because if you are a parent or you're around someone who was once outgoing, and I'm not saying that they've been molested or sexually abused, but I am saying if there is something on the inside of you that's saying you need to reach out to that person, reach out to them. Because I feel like a lot of times we be having inclinations, or we be having thoughts of something. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is having a situation, but hell, right now, surviving a global pandemic, everybody is having a situation. But take the time to go and talk to the person. Send them a message. Hey, how you doing? And you just fell in my heart and my mind. I just wanted to make sure that you was okay. In my upbringing, I would sit at the table and I would not talk at all, or I would just basic responses, basic. Then I went to college, because experiencing things in college, and I just began to write. I began to write short stories. I began to write poems. I began to write songs. I just began to write. Like I would internalize everything, and the way that I would let it out is through song. And I wrote all these different songs and poems. And I was just like, one day, I would always tell myself, one day I will get to the point where I am comfortable enough in myself to talk about these things, to address them, and I won't hide, and I won't have shame, and I won't feel like it was my fault. Because I'm going to let you know, for a long time, I felt like it was my fault. That question rattled in the back of my head every day. It rattled every situation. I was sitting there thinking, like, did I bring this up on myself? Like, how could I not? I'm going to tell y'all, it got so bad where I was wearing 2 and 3 times bigger, like clothes that were 2 and 3 times sizes bigger than what I was, just so people wouldn't look at me. Like when I tell you I went to extremes, I went to extremes just so people wouldn't look at me. And in turn, that caused me to like start to lose myself. And the last thing you ever want to do in life is lose yourself. Lose yourself to a job, lose yourself to a relationship. I began to lose myself, right? And so I kept holding on. There's the why would they choose you? And there's the one day. So these are two, it's like the angels is one angel is the good angel, the one angel is the bad. It was those things in me. And I just kept saying one day, and I kept sticking to who I was. And every situation that I went through, hello, Journey with Kiki, every central situation that I went through fostered in me a sense of courage. It fostered in me a sense of courage. I remember people who were experiencing things that I experienced, and like they were like harming themselves. They were turning to drugs and alcohol, and I was just turning inward of myself. I was going inside myself. I wouldn't. You're probably like, man, you be talking a lot now. I wasn't saying. I remember I stopped talking for 2 years. 2 years, I didn't say a word. You're probably watching like 2 years. I didn't say a word. In my mind, I convinced myself that nobody cares anyway. Nobody is listening to me anyways. So why waste my breath of talking? Stay with me, y'all, because it's going all like, who would I be without my trauma, right? And I'm not asking. Well, actually, I am asking in the sense of, if the fucked up shit wouldn't have never happened to you, who would you be? But also, with all of the fucked up shit happening to me, I am who I am. I started talking after those 2 years because a wonderful woman came into my life. If you're a parent, you probably like give people the title of godparents. This woman was my godparent. Like, she, now that I think about it, she never really talked to me about God, but she definitely talked to me about life from a godly perspective, is what I'm going to say. She came to me, and she talked to me in a parable. You know how Jesus talked to people in a parable, but she used her life as a story for me, and it clicked. It instantly clicked. Everything that I had been going through, I had been going in my mind. Like, I was literally in my mind, like, how did I bring this on myself? You ever been in a situation, you'd be like, damn, did this happen because of something I thought or something I said? So I'm in myself. I'm going hard. Like, I was doing self-damning things to myself because I didn't care. Nobody else cared. Why the fuck should I care? This lady came in and she told me a story. She didn't tell me a bunch of stories. She told me one story that happened to her, and it clicked to me. It's bigger than me. I know. I know what you're probably thinking. I don't know what you're thinking, but I thought, while she was telling me this story, it's bigger than me. And so then I began to talk. I began to do poetry. I began to go to different like youth events and just talk to other people, right? And then the thing that I come to realize is that a lot of people have similar experiences. A lot of us do. Some of you will never go on YouTube and be like, hey, I was molested by the pastor of the church that I grew up in for decades. Some of you will never say that. And that's okay. But me, I'm choosing to talk about it because someone who grew up in a church and who was molested by maybe the pastor, the deacon, evangelist, or somebody in the church, and they need to hear that they are not alone. You're not crazy. I know you probably were told that. It probably feel like you are. God's going to get you, because God's not going to get you. What he's going to do is he going to help you. He going to help you to understand that shit that happened to you, that wasn't a part of his plan. We need to tell more people about our experiences. I talk to y'all about my traumas and the shit that I go through because I know how alone I felt. I felt completely alone. Like, everybody, I wouldn't I looked at everybody through a magnifying glass. Like, somebody wanted to talk to me, listen. When I tell you, if I want to find you, or if I want to, I know my way around a computer. I know my way around the internet. I know my way around. Let's just say that. And I was going too above and beyond. It was too many steps for me. I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to be able to just sit and talk to you and not think, okay, like go out on a date with somebody and not just think like, okay, I already know what you want, so let's get it out the way. The food was good, but let's get it out the way. I want to actually build meaningful relationships with people. That's when I started something my grandmother said to me when I was younger, which actually stuck with me throughout everything that I've been through, right? People treated me so fucking bad. Like, people did so much shit to me. And how did I look back at it? You ever have that moment like, I wish a motherfucker would. I've had a lot of those moments and motherfuckers did. And then I would just look like, I can't become you. It's not in my heart to do mean, disrespectful shit to people. It's not in my heart to do that, because the first thing I'm gonna think about is, if I was in that situation, how would I want someone to treat me? That's the first thing I think about everything. And so I began to humanize the other person. I began to humanize the people that were treating me wrong. And I just started to like, you know what? I'm going to love the hell out of you. Now, we know we can't love the hell out of people. If we could, there would be a lot of less. Anyways, but I'm going to love you. I'm going to love you beyond love. I'm going to love you. You're going to continue to do fucked up shit, but one day you're going to wake up and you're going to realize, like, damn, I did some really fucked up shit to her. And every time, if I needed a ride, if I needed food, if I needed money, if I needed anything, she was right there. Not because, oh, she trying to, no, she was right there. She was a kind, gentle person. I personally feel like in this day and age, we need more kind, gentle people. Everybody has been through so much shit in their life where we're not as trusting as we once were. Remember, you could hear about back in the days, people would leave their doors unlocked, and people would, there's like community, like everybody was taking care of everybody, and it was good. Now, you can't leave your doors unlocked. You can't leave shit unlocked. You gotta lock yourself in your own house, lock yourself in your own bedroom, cause shit be happening in our own homes. Who would I have been without the trauma of being molested at the age of 8? I couldn't tell you that. I can tell you at the age of 8, I was loving, I was kind, I was cooking full course meals because I had a granny from the South that was showing me how my way around the kitchen. She showed me how to separate laundry. She showed me how to separate laundry. When you think about, I don't know about y'all, but when I think about the conversations I had with my grandmother, my godmother, my uncles, my great aunts, just everybody that's older than me, it makes so much sense now. It makes so much sense why when you're younger, they give you allowance and they show you how to like purchase groceries and do shit like that, because a lot of adults my age have no idea how to do mm, basic survival shit. And a part of that is because of the environments that we grew up in, our traumas, the things we experience. Who would I have been? I think about that. I thought about that for so many years. Like, man, I probably would have been, uh, probably would have went Division 1. I would have played basketball at either North Carolina Chapel Hill or ASU, because those was the two schools that I had picked out. Yeah, I'm going to play basketball. That's what I was going to do. I stopped playing basketball because I was too overwhelmed with uh, somebody finding out the secret that I've been molested. And then they think like, oh, I wanted that. I stopped talking to people because they were going to be like, oh my God, she had sex already. And like, there were so many things I wish people would have talked about with me. Like sex, people make fun of people that talk to their kids about the birds and the bees. I don't know why we call it the birds and the bees, because we're human. But anyways, people make fun of people. But if parents took the time to talk about sex with their children, I went to school, right? I went to predominantly white schools for the largest majority of my life. I went to um, urban school, is what I'm going to call it, for 1 week, and I got suspended, and then I was shipped out to Chapter 220. And I say shipped because I had to get up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning to stand on a bus stop and go out to Franklin, Wisconsin. So I've been in predominantly white schools for the largest majority of my life, and I learned so much shit. I learned so much shit. And I'm going to say that that was being in predominantly white school was a trauma in and of itself. It might sound like, oh yeah, you went to, but it was a cultural shock. Um, and then I had to adjust from my traumas that I was experiencing at church, hiding that from the people that I love, because when you younger and you know how your family is, like you know how your family is. If you got a protective family, you know how they are. So then I'm in my mind, I'm going through this trauma of being molested. I'm hiding this secret from everyone that I love. I'm thinking like I could say something, but then I know my uncles. I know them. When I say I know them, like I know them. I know who they are. I know the type of people they are. I know the type of people that they run with. I know them. So if I say anything, this is going to bring more harm than it is good. So I'm just going to hold on to it. I'm holding on to it. I'm walking through life. I'm making it the best way I can. I'm struggling. I said to myself multiple times as a 40-year-old person, um, somebody had to see something. Maybe they just didn't know what to say, right? I'm going to take this moment to say if you see somebody around you in your life, you know that they are not themselves, talk to them. Talk to them. Ask them if they're okay. Take them out to dinner. Take them out to coffee. Bring food to their house. Ask them if they're okay. That's one thing I wish I said I'm going to be more mindful of in 2023. You ever have a moment where you're just doing something random, right? And a person drops on your heart or they drop in your mind, and you be like, oh, I'll call them later, or I'll call them tomorrow, or I'll call them whatever. The person dropped in your heart and your mind because at that moment they needed you. Now you might not believe that. You ever call somebody and be like, girl, how you doing? I just call and check on you. And they be like, girl, I needed you to call me. Or, bro, thanks for calling. I needed that. You ever sent a text message and people like, I needed that? I feel like if we were more in tune with that, there would be a lot less people um, feeling down or feeling alone. And I'm not saying that that's your responsibility. However, as humans, we are all connected to each other. So the other day, actually, it was yesterday, I was sitting here and I was writing out what I'm going to do on YouTube. I put this down, and I was like, somebody dropped in my spirit, and I sent them a message. I said, hey, I know it's late. I just wanted to tell you that I love you. Be encouraged. Um, and I look forward to going to brunch with you. I didn't get a response, of course, because I knew it was late, but I got a response this morning, and it was like a couple of paragraphs. And I didn't know. I just know that they dropped in my spirit. And I said, excuse me, I said, I'm going to be more mindful in 2023. Because you ever have someone drop in your spirit or you just come to your mind, and then you put it off to another day, and then that person was no longer here? I'm being more mindful in 2023. I'm being more present. I'm being I'm being more in tune with life. But who would I've been without my trauma? I want to say my trauma exposed me to that. It exposed me to being more aware. So when you hear the word trauma, you probably think bad, or there's a negative connotation with trauma. I'm not saying that there's not a negative connotation, because I feel like my traumas, while they were bad, while they were horrible, um, highlighted good things. It highlighted compassion. It highlighted the ability to uh, be vulnerable. It highlighted the ability to um, be secure in who I am. I made it to 18, and I thought I was out the woods. You go through a lot of shit in your life. You get to when I turn 18, I'm moving out my mama's house. I'm doing all of this. So I had all of those ideas, and I made it to 18, and I graduated from college, and then I was like, you know, or I graduated from my high school, going to college. I was excited. I'm going to college. Actually, I had signed up to go to the Navy. You go to the Navy, you go to the recruiting station. And I had signed up to go to the Navy. I was supposed to go. Is it like I don't even remember what it was called then, but I was supposed to go, and then the college that I graduated from called me, and I'm like, "How did y'all? I never applied to y'all college. I never even." I was talking to this person at the time, and they was going to the Navy too. So it's like, "Oh, we lit out here going to the Navy. I'm gonna get away. I'm gonna escape. I'm going to escape all of the traumas that I experienced in my life, and I was going to go to the Navy." And the school called me, and I was like, "I don't remember applying to y'all." And it was like, "Hey, we want to give you, they gave me a nice little package to come there." So I went to visit the school, and I ended up going to the school and not going to the Navy. And so I went to the school, and this is 1999. I was on the campus walking around, and I'm noticing these people. Um, you probably read in your history books about people who wear sheets. I'm trying to make sure that I don't, you know what I'm saying. They wear sheets, and they have three main letters in their name. Yeah, so I read in my history book, again, I went to predominantly white school. So I read in my history books about these people. I just graduated from a predominantly white high school. So I go to this college. It's in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. It's a pretty much predominantly white town. And so I'm seeing these people walk around with these sheets on, and I'm looking like, this is 1999. What the hell is going on? And then they're leaving nooses and all of those things that you read in your history book that they will leave to people. We're physically looking at them right here, hanging on our doorknobs, hanging on our doors, notes telling us to, and we're looking at where it's like 25 of us. Actually, I think it was less than that, but it's probably, I said it's 25. I upped it just in case I didn't, forgot one of the basketball players or something. It was 25 of us, right? And they put us all in this one building, and they were like, "Hey, at this time, you can't go outside because these people," and they would drive down the street, drive around the campus with their flag. Y'all know the flag. And we were literally like, this is 1999. I'm literally fighting the same people that my grandparents, my mother, like, in my mind, I don't know why I thought, but I thought that things had changed. You thought that things be better, but to actually physically see the people face to face, it's a whole nother thing. It's one thing to read about it in the history books. It's one thing to watch a documentary, but to actually see with your own eyes the person standing in front of you, it's a terrifying situation. So there's another trauma that I experienced. So now I have the trauma I experienced from church, or cult is what I call it. The trauma I experienced from the cult that I grew up in, the trauma that I experienced going to predominantly white schools, because it's like they see you as less than, but they won't tell you that they see you as less than. So now it's like I have to prove to you that I'm on the same caliber of you. I can go in here and fly this simulated plane just like you. I can go in here and rebuild this whole car just like you. And so when they saw that, it was just like, okay, now you're equal. So now I'm here, and they seeing me as an equal, and now I'm going back home where it's like, oh, you think because you go to white schools that you are better. Now you probably like, that was not traumas. Those that shit was traumatic to me. It was traumatic to me, and I'm telling you the story of who I am without trauma. I'm telling you. I'm telling you about my trauma so that you understand who I am without it. So I come back home, and then you be in a neighborhood and people like, oh, she's sedity and she talking proper and all of these different things, and you don't want to be the person that's talking proper. You don't want to be the outcast of everybody. So I began to dim my light. I'm telling y'all all the instances of who I was before the trauma so that you will know who I am. You will know. So I'm going in the neighborhood. I started to realize that I was in 10th grade. Um, I was in 10th grade. The books that I was using in 10th grade, I would come back to the neighborhood, and people in the 12th grade was using, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, oh my God, maybe I am. In the back of my head, I told y'all the question. I brought it on myself. Maybe I am making it appear like I'm better than other people. So let me dial it back a little bit. Like, dial it back a little bit. I remember I used to go, you get a job, you start working, whatever, you start getting money, you going to buy what you like, right? So I would go and buy Eddie Bauer. Eddie Bauer, it holds a special place in my heart. I would go and buy Eddie Bauer everything. Everything. Head to toe, I was Eddie Bauer. And so then one day somebody was like, oh, you think you better because you shopping at Eddie Bauer? And I was like, why do people keep saying this? Do I come off as I'm better? No, I just like Eddie Bauer. I don't like, so people were shopping at Rainbow and Simply Fashions. And then I felt bad because I was like, but I don't like that. I like Eddie Bauer. And then I realized like I've never been the type to have group think. You know what group think is? It's where everybody think the same thing. I've always been the one person in the group that thought opposite. You ever been in a group and then everybody's like, there's people who have different opinions in the group, but if the largest majority have one opinion, they will go with that opinion. I've always stood 10 toes down on anything that I believe in. Anything that I believe in, anything that I feel to be right, I always stand 10 toes down on it. So then when one day my mother was like, you don't want to go to Simply Fashions or Rainbows? I was like, now you know. You know I do not like I don't like, it just didn't fit right. It didn't seem right to me. But that Eddie Bauer, she's like, you spent this, you could go over here. That didn't matter to me. I like what I like. So for me, it again, it was that this side. I'm saying this side because that's the side I felt like it was on. It was like, how can I lessen myself? How can I lessen myself so that I don't make the people around me uncomfortable? And again, I didn't go buy new clothes. I just kept wearing the same old 80-hour clothes that I had. And I started to lessen myself. Like, I was this bright, bubbly, outgoing person. I was playing basketball, roller skating, bowling, doing all of that stuff, right? I began to go within myself. Like, it's just less and less and less. And then I told you I started wearing 2 and 3 times clothes that was bigger than me. And I was just out here. Because in my mind, it was like, okay, people liking, like, how's my barrettes and bobos? And then, like, how what I'm wearing causing you to do things to me when it's like, I'm not inviting you to do anything to me. I'm just out here looking fly in what I got on. But you have the inability to control yourself. That's what you have, not you per se. I'm saying the people that were doing fucked up things to me. And so now I've lowered myself from where I was just a shining light, shining brightly all across the world to now I'm dark, I'm dim. And the more you go on the inside of yourself, it's like if someone don't tap you on your shoulder or someone don't say, hey, come back, you'll just be in there. And I was just in there for a long time. I wasn't I wouldn't talk to people. I would be real shy. I would be real shy. It was this one person that I liked. I when I say strong, like crush, where you just look at them and be like, oh my god, you are so beautiful, strong like. And so I was like in crushing from a distance, and then I found out that this person liked me back. This person liked me back. However, the person who was molesting me had a conference with them and told them all of these things of who I was not. And so then the person that I was crushing on, that was also crushing on me, I saw them with somebody else. I was devastated. I was devastated. I didn't know like that. I didn't know, but I knew that they disappeared. And then when I saw them one time, I just happened to be out and I saw them. I was like, when did that happen? And then it was like weird. And so then I seen them again. We older. I'm older now. I'm just chalk that up to the game. And the person, we went to lunch, and the person was like, "Hey, I sat down and talked to the pastor of the church, and I told him that I wanted to date you, and he told me all of these things about you. I did tell y'all that the pastor of the church was molesting me, so he went and he talked to the pastor of the church, and so." In my mind, I just said, I'm never going to get out of here. My one day had turned into never. I'm never going to get out of here. I'm never going to get married. Nothing ever good is going to happen to me because this person is controlling my life. They're controlling my life. I gave my disclaimer that there was going to be tears. Some of this stuff, it's like I say this to myself. When you're talking to yourself, you say shit to yourself all the time. And I'm saying it out loud. And just saying it out loud is I'm embracing the emotions that are happening while I'm saying it out loud. Because it's so weird because I say it in my mind, I don't know. I'm not one of those talk out loud to yourselfers. I'm not one of those. I just be sitting, I have music on and I be having a conversation with myself. But to actually hear myself say it out loud, like there was a one person that I was really crushing on and they told me what happened, the conversation. And then it affected me. You probably like, oh, that was no, it affected me because multiple people on multiple occasions were telling me what this person was saying. And that's where I was just like, I'm never going to get out of this. How am I going to get out of this? How? And now I'm looking at God like, okay, this is your person that you sent down here to tell people about your goodness and how you can, and they're doing these fucked up things to me. So now I got being molested. I got the situation with me and God. I got the situation with this person. I got the situation with the things I'm experiencing after all of that shit is going on. So I got a lot going on, right? First semester of college is great. I made the basketball team. It's Division 3, but I made the basketball team. Um, my grades is good, on the dean's list and everything. And then May happened. I suffered a brain attack. It's what they called it. It's like a stroke and a nervous breakdown at the same time. And I thought I was gonna be good because you get a little cough, you bounce back, right? I thought I was gonna be good, so I'm like, I gotta tell y'all about the experience of this, right? So I, you see, I'm smiling. You see my dimples. I smile all the time. That's even despite all the shit that I was going through in life, I was still smiling. So I'm smiling and I felt weird. I just felt like not like myself. So I had just sung a song. I feel like going on. I feel like going on. So I had just sung that song, and there's like 2 flights of stairs at the cult that I grew up in. So I go up the one flight of stairs, and I don't remember anything after that, right? So I'm out of it. Like they're like we have to take you to the emergency. So I get to the emergency room and like I open my eyes and like the ladies like they're picking me up and they're like talk or say something and I'm just like in my mind I can hear myself talking but they're looking at me and the looks on everybody's faces is like panic and so I'm trying to get words out but nothing is coming out. So they take me in a emergency room and they're like, she's having a brain attack, it's a stroke and nervous breakdown. It's like my body reset itself. I had stored so much shit from 8 to 18 that my body was like, it is enough. We're not taking no more of this shit. You gotta figure it out. My body shut completely down. They're talking to me. They're like, oh, okay, we have to put her on the psych ward because she can't talk. And I'm like, you going to put me on the psych ward in my mind because I can't talk out loud. I'm like, they going to put me on the psych ward because I can't talk. I was like, okay, I need to get some strength from somewhere. So I couldn't move my hands, but I'm like, I took the pencil, right? And I'm looking at my sister. I'm blinking. I don't know Morse code or nothing, but I'm trying to get a message across because I knew them white coat, them people with the all whites came. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm okay. I just need to. I knew what I needed to do. I need to let go of all of the shit that I was just storing in the back of my mind because I felt like nobody cared. So I'm talking to my sister. This is my god sister. I don't have any real sister, but she's my god sister. So I'm talking to her. I'm not verbally speaking, but I'm looking at her and she understands like, no, she's okay. Let us just take her home and she'll be fine. So they gave me all this medicine. I had to go to physical therapy, art therapy, a ton of medicine. I had to see a psychiatrist. I had to see all these different people, right? So I'm at home. I'm like the entire time I'm knowing what I need to do and everybody else is trying to figure out, okay, what happened? What happened? I got so I got so upset with life. I got so upset with God at this point. If you know me, you probably think like, oh, she just no. Me and God been on this journey for a long time. So I'm like, okay, God, how you allow me to be molested? How you allow the person that was doing all of these shit, how do you allow them to destroy my life at this time? That's what I'm saying. To destroy my life in the manner in which they destroyed it, and then you afflict me. So now you know this voice in the back of my head and why it's loud. It's like I didn't even do nothing. I was being a child. I was being a teenager. I was living my life. I wasn't out here treating people wrong. I wasn't out here robbing. I wasn't doing none of that. I was actually doing loving people. But how do you allow this to happen to me? Right? I said all that. But at the same time, I was crying because I was realizing that I was being able to unlock things within myself. I was unlocking courage. I was unlocking the low self-esteem that I had. Because all that shit, I was here, I was shining bright. And then it was like, my light was down to a fucking flicker. It was down to a flicker. You ever like close your eyes been open the whole time, you close your eyes and you see the little specks or little dots of, when you close your eyes, my self-esteem was right there. I had to learn how to walk and talk again. The shit is the hardest thing. So when I look at little babies and they be trying to figure that shit out, it's the hardest thing. I know you probably like, what the fuck does this have to do with who are you without your trauma? I would not be the person I am today without my traumas. Before my traumas, I was a loving, kind, caring. I am I am compassionate beyond. The love that I have for humanity transcends every fucking thing that has ever happened to me because it is through those traumas. It is through the trauma of losing my ability to walk and talk that I begin to understand or have compassion for people that experiences hardships in life because sometimes people don't make it back from those things. I went to physical therapy. I couldn't walk or talk, and there's like older people and they've had strokes and like the whole like side of their body, or they're just in wheelchairs and can't like do anything. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I literally willed myself. I told myself, they told me, these are their exact words, she will never walk or talk again. I was 18 fucking years old. Who the hell are you to tell me what I can't do? That's what I'm telling y'all. It ramped the low self esteem that was down here. That shit ramped up. So it ramped up, right? So I said, they told me I'm never gonna walk or talk again. It's when you hear those words, it's like, never? You don't know me. I, you don't know me. I told myself, I, it, I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna talk. I don't know how long it's gonna take me, but I'm gonna do it. My one day came back. I told y'all I went from one day to never. My one day came back. Oh, I gotta show y'all. I gotta show you because you don't know me. You don't know me. It lit a fire up in me. That happened in the spring of 1999. By August of 1999, I was walking. I'll say like March is when it happened. Um, by August of 1999, I was walking. I wasn't walking like 1 foot, 2 foot like everybody else, but I was walking. The entire right side of my body was like delayed. It's like the Matrix. It's still like that. So when I say you healing, it doesn't magically take everything away. It's a part of showing you how not to be triggered, or showing you how, or you will still have some triggers, but it's showing you how to deal with it, how to process your emotions so that everything doesn't deserve a response. It's healing, it's growing. It's not this bitch gonna say this like that, let me beat her. It's not that. It's understanding that maybe she's going through something in her life and that she just feeling some kind of way, that maybe I just pull it back. Maybe she had a bad day, let me just pull it back. It's that. Because I know a lot of times when we talk about healing, like I said, we talk about trauma, we automatically think negative, right? The things that happened to me activated me. It was like, go, go, I shall ranger. Like I was activated. I started walking. Now talking is a whole nother thing. So, I had to go to art therapy, and this lady, I promise you, I kid you not, she felt like she was a magician to me. Like she showed me things. She showed me parts. You ever see the movie Lucy? This is how I'm gonna explain it. You ever see the movie Lucy? If you haven't, you should definitely go check out the movie Lucy. What happened to me had nothing to do with drugs. I didn't take any drugs, but I unlocked parts of my brain that I didn't even know existed. You know, you think right, left brain, okay. I unlocked parts of my brain that I didn't even know existed. I unlocked things in myself that I did not even know that was there. So she was doing metaphysical things with me and woke me up to energy and everything. So she's like, "You're a singer, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I sing." And she's like, "Sing something." And like I went to talk or I went to sing, nothing came out. She's like, "No, no, no, no. You're a singer. You should be able to sing." And so she was like, "I want you to go home. I want you to find your favorite song and just sing it." And so I'm, I in my head, in my inner voice, I could hear myself singing, right? So I'm trying to get the words out. I'm trying. One day, I'm in the bathroom and I said, "I feel like going on." Just like that, right? I was so terrified. I was so freaked out. I was like, no, 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 there's no way that I could do that. And I can't talk. So I'm trying to talk. Nothing would come out. It was silent. So I started singing again. And so the next week I had to go to therapy. And then she's like, "Did you figure out if you could sing?" I was like, "I don't know." So she's sing and I started singing. And so I started singing what I wanted to say because it's a song. I don't even know how this all worked. At that time, I didn't know how it all worked. So I was like, how can I sing but I can't talk? She was expressing to me about the different compartments of the brain. And I was like, oh, this shit is great. And so then I started to talk, but I talked with a really strong stutter. And at this time, my light is coming back up, but now it's like I'm gonna be handicapped, and people gonna only talk to me or only hang out with me because I'm handicapped, and they're gonna take pity on me. They're gonna feel sorry. So now it's like my self esteem is like stuck. It's stuck at a level where I gotta get the fuck out of this. I gotta get out of this because this isn't me. I love to talk. I love to hang out. I need to get back to that person. The godmother who came in my life again highlighted the best parts of my life, highlighted how I've overcome so many different things, just highlighted me. You ever had somebody in your life just highlighted you or just tell you how proud they are of what you thought were like small minuscule things, but that was huge to someone else? She came and highlighted shit that just overlooked because it was like when I tell y'all I've never celebrated any of my accomplishments ever in my life. I am 42 years old and I've never celebrated an accomplishment ever. I am the only grandchild out of all of my grandmother's grandchildren that she was able to attend their graduation. Have photos of it and everything. It was one of the most happiest days of my life, but I never celebrated it. I never felt um, worthy of celebrating. Again, I didn't want to make the people around me feel bad because they didn't have shit to celebrate. So I was just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to, keep it moving. Everybody else is like, oh, you did it good. Okay, I'm keeping it moving. I'm in college. I'm still struggling with the shit that I experienced in the cult. I'm still struggling with like wanting to tell people, but who's really gonna care? And then it's like now I'm singing. It's almost time for me to graduate, and they're like, "Hey, you can't do gospel music. You can't do you can't do urban music. You gotta just do classical music." Now, I have studied classical music for 7+ years. I've sung in all German, French, Spanish, Latin, Italian, and I knew that it was important for me to do black music. I'm black. It's important for me to do this. I'm gonna be the first one to do it. I have to do it. I thought about every fucking thing that I have been through in my entire life, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to fight. When I tell y'all, I fought for the opportunity to sing black music at my senior recital. I stood 10 toes down for something that I believed in. I'm telling you, like, it was the traumas that helped me figure that shit out, right? 10 toes down for it. Before my senior recital, the first half was arias. The second half was urban music. That's what they called it. It's urban music. So it was like gospel, R&B. Um, and then it came time for me to graduate. I graduated, made history. So the school where I saw the people with the hoods and the sheets and, they'll be burning crosses and all that shit. Was the first African American to graduate with a music degree from the college. 72 years. College existed for 72 years, and I was the first one to do that. I was the first one to have a senior recital. Um, Sorry, y'all. Haven't said that out loud. Um, I mean, I have, talked about it, but I haven't like acknowledged the emotions that obviously come with it. 'Cause, like you just going through life, you're going through the motions. It's like, okay, there's something else I did, and you move on. And like the significance of knowing that, and despite hate mail, despite nooses, despite threats, despite everything, I was able to complete my college degree in the face of all of that. Having the first semester, suffered a brain attack and still being able to complete it. Whew. So I graduated college. Um, Now it's like, what do I do in my life? I graduated. What do I do? I'm walking. Um, I'm not full 100% walking. At this time, I'm talking. I'm stuttering, but I'm talking. I just started traveling. I started traveling. I started taking myself on vacations. I would fly. Vegas was like my first home. I spent more time there than I did here, actually. Um, but I just started traveling. I started seeing other places. I moved to Arizona. I was exposed to the gay culture out there. It was amazing. It was so amazing seeing drag queens, just seeing people just be free and live out loud. Now, I never was in a closet. I was always doing what I did, period. I even told people, like, I hear people around me or I hear people coming out stories, and I never had that because people just always accepted me. Like my family. This is why I be talking to families and saying, like, um, whether we believe it or not, it's our families that show us, like, love and what life with love and a support system should be like. And a lot of times we don't come from families that show us that. We come from families that abuse us mentally, physically, emotional. We come from families where there was one parent, there was no parents, our grandparents raised us. We come from situations that we don't even talk about now because we barely made it out of that shit. And I just want to encourage you, if you are someone who are who come from a childhood that wasn't ideal, or who come from a situation that didn't foster in you what it's like to be a loving, kind human being. You don't have to be a product of your environment. You could change. I started going to therapy when I was 33. I had given it to Jesus. I had given it to the um, authorities. I had given it to everybody else. I've given it to everybody else. And then I went to therapy and I started giving it to myself. I started spending time with myself, understanding things about myself that I would just brush to the side, my likes, my dislikes, understanding who I was, understanding that I was far greater than any molestation, any child abuse, anything that life threw at me. I was greater than that. And that was a start of me finding me, healing uh the abandonment issues I felt from my parents, healing the rejection I felt from my parents, healing all of that. That was the start of that. That was the start of me understanding that a lot of the shit that I experienced in my life was directly related um, to the abandonment, was directly related to the rejection. It was all related. So as I'm going through therapy and I'm acknowledging these different things, and I'm literally being transported. I remember going back to the first time when I was 8 and the first experience happened. I can tell you the dress I had on. I can tell you the smells. I can tell you everything. Because like I said, you go to therapy, you give it to Jesus, you do all of these things. It's never going to take it away. Those things that you experiences will always be there. It's just going to show you how you don't have to let that control your life. I don't know who I would be without my traumas. Like I said, I was loving, I was caring, I was kind, but it was through my traumas that I found me. I'm not I don't tolerate disrespect. I don't do disrespectful shit. It's cuz I understand that we are all in a race for trying to be happy, trying to be wealthy, just wanting to feel love. We are all there. Everybody. Not just me, not just you, everybody. From the richest person all the way down to the poorest person. We're all, that's all what we want. We want to be happy. We want to be loved. We want to be surrounded by people who love us. We want to have a support system. That's what we all here for. So when you come into the understanding of the shit that you've been through in your life was just to expose you, to open up your eyes, to say, listen, you're not in this alone. You should be able to talk about to someone about the shit that you're going through and not have to feel the thing about being judged. I'm gonna tell you this, right? I told y'all all that and I'm gonna tell y'all more, right? I don't give a fuck if you take what I tell you or what happened in my life or the things that I expressed in any one of my YouTube videos, TikTok, any one of my social media things and try to use it against me. You can't, because I've healed from that. I don't feel ashamed about, I don't have the shame. I don't have guilt or regret. I don't have any of that. I've healed from that. That was a time in my life that I endured, that I overcame, that I am still here to talk to you about and let you know, yes, I went through those things. Yes, I've overcome. Yes, I've let go. Yep, I had even got to the point in my entire life. It wasn't until I turned 40 that I actually said the person's name. I literally erased their name, their being from my vocabulary, from my sight. They existed, they were still around, but I erased them. And it wasn't until I turned 40 and I said their name and I put the conversation, I put everything together. It was like, oh, I'm not carrying around anybody else's fucking baggage. I'm not. It's 2023. I left all that shit over there. All of that. From here on out, I told y'all, I stand 10 toes down in my beliefs. I stand 10 toes down for anything that I'm fighting for, anything that I believe in, anything that I support. I'm standing 10 toes down on it. In this nurturing conversations, I feel like if more people talked about the shit that they went through, it would be less people going down the same road. I told the story previously about me drinking and driving. What? You was drinking and driving? Yes, I was drinking and driving. And that's not to be like, look at me, I was drinking and driving. That's like, don't, if you had a fucking shot, it could be a little half, it could be this much of a shot. There's alcohol in your fucking system. Don't get behind the wheel of a car. If you smoke weed, if you smoke anything, whatever you smoke, do not get behind the wheel of a car. Take a Uber, take a Lyft. Well, you did it. Let me tell you about my experience and what I did, right? So I went to it was a repast and I went and, there was food. I was eating food. I was drinking. I had stopped drinking because, I was like, okay, I'm going to stop drinking because I know I have to go all the way on the other side of the town to get home. So, I'm still eating because, I don't know who said this, but it's like, girl, get you some greasy food is going to soak up all your liquor. We be coming up with some of the most weirdest shit ever. So I'm eating burgers. I'm doing all this stuff, soaking up all the alcohol in my mind, soaking up all the alcohol. I knew. You ever have that moment where it's like, don't get in this fucking car. Just catch a ride with somebody else. It's giving you alternatives to do, but you was like, no, I don't want to leave my car here. I don't want to, you got all these excuses. So I got in my car. You think about your house and you think about the furthest distance from your house. I was so far away from my house and I'm driving and first I'm driving, it was cool. And then I had got to a stoplight and I closed my eyes for what I thought was like a second. But I was literally asleep. Now, this is like 2:45, 3 o'clock in the morning. I was asleep at the light with my foot on the brake. I didn't harm anybody. I didn't do anything to anybody, but I scared the shit out of myself. I put the car over for a minute. I was like, listen, if you let me make it home, you ever be in a situation where you like, if you let me make it home, I will never drink and drive again. And I will tell everybody about not drinking and driving, right? I got in my car. I made it home that next day. I was calling people like, hey, listen. We can't be drinking and driving. We can't be turning up and then we got to get designated drivers. I was own it. I've been on it to this very day. People come over, we'll go out. It's like, hey, I'm gonna be the you not drinking? I'm gonna be the designated driver because what I'm not gonna do, what I'm not gonna do is get in the car with somebody who I know been drinking or who I know been smoking, and I'm gonna get in the car because listen, I don't know if y'all paid attention to this, but it's something that I paid attention to that was like it hit me instantly. Right, I've never heard a story, a news story, read an article or anything about the drunk driver passing away. I've never heard it. But I can tell you what I have heard. I've heard that everyone in the car that was riding with the passed away. I can tell you that the wreckage was really horrible. I can tell you that. So when I say it's a no for drinking and driving for me, it's a no. That's a trauma that scared the shit out of me. And to this day, it's a no for me. If I go somewhere and then everybody there is drunk and they're like, okay, just come in and get in the car, it's okay. I'm going to either have a designated driver, catch me an Uber or a Lyft, or I'm going to get on the bus. Or I'm going to call, so I'm gonna find a way up out of there. I'm not getting in the car with somebody I know is smoking and drinking because all it takes is one little split decision and everything in your life can change. And I'm not with that. My life has already been flipped upside down, topsy-turvy. And so right now, I've been going to therapy. The most recent therapy I went through, I have to tell y'all this because it's important. It's important to the who would I be without my trauma, or who would you be without your trauma. It took me until I was 40 years old. Like the entire time I knew that I had a voice. I knew that I was going to talk to people. I knew that I was going to I know that I have this thing about me where I can inspire people, where I love people and I share that love with people. I'm pretty sure that you're here watching or listening to me because something I said to you or a conversation we had or even just watching my videos made you want to come and talk to me or feel intrigued. I know that I have that, right? But I said one day I just want to be able to talk from a free space. I don't want to be able to talk and just be like, oh man, somebody is gone. I want to talk from a free space. When I turned 40 and I put the name of the person, they're deceased now. They passed away this time last year. But I put their name to it. I talked about it. I shared it. And the crazy thing is what happened was so many other people started coming out and people started calling them liars and saying it never happened or whatever. But the moment I opened my mouth and spoke and said what happened to me, it was like it was like it was like an elephant had been removed off of my chest. It was like I shed 500 pounds. It was like I had been given a brand new life. I had literally been given a brand new life. It was like everything instantly made sense to me. I started going to last year I had a major surgery. And I know sometimes in life be trying to tell us lessons and we don't be listening. I'll be the first to say I was not listening. I was not listening. Life was trying to tell me to slow down. You bust your ass for so long, just sit back and reap the rewards of what you were doing, what you've been doing. And I was like, nah, I gotta because I've been in a rat race. You know, I'm on the hamster wheel now. I've been doing this for so long. Like I have to do something. I have to do something literally every day, or else I feel like I'm lazy, or it's not. And last year I had a major surgery, and I couldn't do anything but rest. And after the major surgery, it left me with polyps on my vocal cords. And so it wasn't until my voice was affected that I realized that it's time for me to start speaking. It wasn't until they told me that I was going to have the surgery to remove polyps on my vocal cords that I became concerned about speaking. I speak all the time, but it wasn't until it was in that moment where I said, that is going to change my voice, that is going to change how I sound, that is going to change how I project to people. I was concerned about that. I wasn't concerned about the fucking surgery. I just had a surgery. I was concerned about my voice, how my voice would be affected. And it was at vocal therapy that I had the epiphany of I turned my voice off because nobody, it seemed to me, it seemed like nobody cared. Nobody gave a fuck when in actuality people did. I just didn't give them the opportunity to. I didn't give the people in my life the opportunity to care because I felt like they wouldn't care. I didn't give the people the opportunity to love on me and support me because I didn't feel like they would do that. I didn't talk about my accomplishments because I feel like people are just gonna, why? You think you better. I didn't highlight who I am because I didn't want people. I was more concerned about how people would feel than how I would feel. I began to love myself. I began to love the sound of my voice. I began to love to talk. And I said, from this moment forward, as I talk, I want to be light, love, and positivity. That's all I want to share. That's all I want to be. And when I tell y'all, I have literally made that my goal since the fucking pandemic have came in. Every fucking day, light, love, and positivity. If I feel like I don't have anything, I don't know, when y'all were growing up, when I was growing up, they said if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all, right? Now, most people be thinking like, oh, if you're going to talk bad, but if you don't have anything good to say, if you don't have anything to contribute to a person's life or anything to contribute to a person's situation, don't say shit. And this is coming from somebody who loved to talk. I literally had to learn what that meant. I would rather be quiet. I would rather not say shit than to say something that could harm you. I'm going to tell you how serious it is when I get up in the morning. Like when I wake up in the morning, if I feel like, we know when we wake up in the morning whether we're going to have a good day or we're going to have a bad day. When I wake up in the morning, if I don't feel happy, if I don't feel joyful, I roll my ass to the other side of the bed, put the cover over my head, and hit snooze. Set me alarm, and if I don't feel like I'm getting there, I hit snooze. This is why I started meditating in the morning. I started meditating at night. I do actually meditate 3 times a day. I meditate in the morning. I meditate like in the middle of the day and at night. And so I'm going to start sharing with y'all this coming week my morning, midday, and night meditations because that helps me. It helps me to be grounded. It helps me to find my balance. I refuse to be out here being disrespectful. We have all survived. Listen, I survived. I was telling somebody this earlier. I said, all the shit I survived in my life, especially in the last fucking 3 years, there is no way I'm losing in 2023. No way. That I'm going after every fucking thing I ever thought about doing, wished I could have did everything. And guess what? I'm not afraid to fail because I've done that before in my life. I failed. I've been a disappointment. I been let down. I've been all of those things, right? And the thing that I realize about it is it takes away the fear of it. I told y'all at the beginning of this podcast, I've been wanting to do this podcast for a long time. And I told y'all a little backstory of who I was and how I found the courage. And so I started this podcast. I called it Sunday Night Dinner and Convo. The moment I said I had a podcast, I was going to do a podcast. I already knew that it was going to be the Nurturing Conversation podcast. I already knew that, right? But I just started it as Sunday Night Dinner and Convo. And I'm saying all of this because maybe you want to start a podcast. Maybe you want to start a television show. Maybe you want to start a book, a makeup line, a YouTube. Maybe you just want to start creating content. Don't take yourself too seriously, but take yourself too seriously. Just fucking do it. The more you wait, the more you wait till you get the good lighting, the more you wait till you get the mics, the more you wait till you get, just fucking do it. And I'm saying this because had I not just fucking did Sunday night dinner and convo, I would still just be sitting here like, yeah, one day I'm gonna do a podcast and it's gonna have a nurturing conversation to it. One day I'm gonna do it. But I started it at Sunday night dinner and convo, and last year I was like, you know what? I'm ready. That's another thing. I'm telling you to just do it. Don't rush it. And that's not to say keep it on for a couple of years. That's to say, if you know right now that you want to start a fucking YouTube, start that YouTube. You probably got an idea in your head. This would be a good. I don't see nobody doing this on YouTube. This would be good. Do it, because I'm going to tell you why. If you don't, you're going to see two. It ain't even going to happen really. It ain't going to happen like months down the line. It's going to be like 2 or 3 days later. You're going to see somebody on YouTube doing the exact same thing that you said you could have did. And now you're going to be feeling like, man, I can't even do it, because then I in my everyday life, like what I do on a regular basis, right? I work with music artists to help them get a financial return on their musical investment, right? Now, it's so many people that's like trying to help artists get paid, and but they focus on them getting paid and then the artist. For me, it's like, no, I want you to get paid, because as long as you get paid, I know I'm gonna get paid. I have no problem with that. So somebody's like, why would you do that? And all these other people, and I was like, well, we're not telling Dunkin' Donuts not to sell coffee because Starbucks sell coffee. We're not telling Folgers to go away because Maxwell. No, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it at a greater in a greater capacity. And so I started realizing or figuring out how I could be more effective in what I do. And how I be more effective is address the artists as human beings. Everybody think about artists, or like even at your job, your boss look at you as a worker. They don't value you as a human being. You don't, if you actually don't think so, think about it, right? You ever called in sick and they like gave you a rebuttal, like, oh no, you need to come in. Now we got to find somebody, we got to pay somebody else. They don't look at you as an actual human being. You're just another person. They don't care about paying you. It's not even their money. It's the corporation's money. They don't care about paying you. Just like they really don't care, because they will fire you and find somebody that will take less money than you. If more people talked about the traumas, if more people expressed who they were, I said a couple of weeks ago, and Fancy was here. She said, you asked the question, who are you without your trauma? I did not know who I was without my trauma. I felt like for so long, my trauma is what helped me survive. I kid you not. It was the traumas that helped me survive. It was the traumas that helped me push to get through college. It was the traumas that helped me push to get the degree. It was the traumas that pushed me. And then it was like, I don't want to have that anymore. I don't want to do this just because. I want to do it because I love it. I want to do it because I feel good about it. I'm passionate about it. That's why I want to do it. And then in order to do that, I had to rid myself of everything. Rid myself. I talked to my parents. I felt abandoned and rejected by my parents. I went and talked to them. I understood where they were, and it helped me understand. I was putting expectations on them that they didn't even have any idea of. You want your parents to love you, but they come from a broken home. And this is not an excuse. This is just a reality. They come from a broken home. Their mother never hugged them. Their mother never kissed them. Their mother never told them how proud of them they were. So we want people who've never experienced that to give that to us. How? That's not to excuse your parents on their bad treatment, because I personally feel like if you're a parent, you should learn, not even just as a parent, as an adult, as somebody who has a functioning brain. As you grow, you learn. You should, be different. But it took me sitting down with my two parents and understanding where they were and understanding how their life was at that time to understand that I was putting on them something that they couldn't even understand. I lost my father. I lost my father last year. No, it was 2021 last year. He passed away in November, 2 days after Thanksgiving. I buried him, or I cremated him. He's been cremated December the 10th. And I'm grateful for the time I had to spend with him. My mother suffered a series of strokes, and she's currently um, making it through what she's going through. And when I tell you um, the love I have for them, I love my mother on such a different level. You know, they say, oh, black mothers and black daughters don't get along. When I tell y'all the love I have for my mother, because it wasn't until I was in my 40s until I thought I started processing the shit that I've been through in my life, regardless of the shit that I went through, regardless of all of the fucked up shit that I went through. My mother set me up for success. The fact that she even named me I Shall, I'm telling you, my mother set me up for success. And I'm not talking about, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire or anything like that, because I am. But I'm saying, like, she set me up for success. She set me up. She gave me the groundwork, the foundational work for me to be successful. Not only that, she showed me with her life what it's like to love and care for people. She showed me with her life what it's like to be human, to love. Like now, it's like I told my nephew, I said, I feel so bad because my truck broke down. So I haven't been able to go over and see my mom, but I'm going to go after this. So that's why I got to wrap this up. But I'm going to go over there and I'm going to hang out with her. It's like just being able to hang out. Now, I'm going to say this, like if you have a parent that's getting older, my mom says this thing is like, I don't want to be a burden, right? I don't know if your mom or your parents or your dad or whatever, but they're like, I don't want to be a burden. And I'm just like, you're not a burden. Like, it's because of the conversations that I had with you that I understand who I am as a woman. I understand who I am as a sister, as a daughter, as an auntie. Like, I understand my purpose. I understand who I am as a podcast host, as an influencer, as a content creator. I understand who I am because of the relationship that I have with my mother. I'm grateful that I grew up in a family that talked about everything and learned that I was able to understand what a conversation is. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to still go and hang out with my mom, take her to breakfast, take her to dinner. I'm grateful for that. And I know you're probably, if you're listening or you're watching this, you probably come back and watch this and you're like, oh, me and my mother just can't get along. The greatest thing about healing is forgiveness. I remember I said I forgive the person that took my innocence away from me. It's such a freeing thing. I know you're probably looking like, oh my God, you're crying while you're saying it. It's such a freeing thing because you don't understand that anger and that bitterness. It gets rooted into you and it comes out in other forms. Or it's people who have done nothing to you and you just don't want that. I don't want that for you. I want you to be okay. I want you to be good. I don't want you to be like, you ever been in a relationship and you like, damn, that's the one that got away because you wasn't healed or you couldn't let go of the shit that happened to you before? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm all snotty and everything, but it's okay because this is real truth. This is true. This is what the Nurture Conversations podcast is all about. Truth. A safe space for you to come. You don't even have to talk here. It's a conversation, but you don't even have to talk here. I just hope that something I am saying is inspiring you to know that it's 2023. You have survived a global fucking pandemic. It is time to put yourself first. You weren't crazy. You aren't crazy. The shit that happened to you happened to you. You don't have to be around those people every day. Because what I was glad that I never heard what happens in this house stays in this house. Because that's some really fucked up shit to say to somebody. But I get it. It's cycles of fucked up shit that happen. Your mama told you, your grandparents told you, your family told you that shit. So you just be recycling. We be recycling shit all the time that are older generations. And I'm not saying that a lot of shit that they told us wasn't valid, because a lot of the shit was valid. It's just when it comes to like protecting pedophiles or protecting people that are doing harm to other people, I don't rock with that at all. At all, I don't rock with that. I be telling a lot of my adult friends, a lot of people that are older, I be encouraging them to go to therapy. And a lot of them grow up in church, so they like, no, I'm just going to give it to Jesus. And here's what I'm going to say. Now, y'all already know, if you know me, you know how I feel about Jesus. I will never disrespect Jesus or anybody that that worship Jesus. It's just my thing that I have with him. It's just me. Is just me. But I will not allow ever, I will not ever allow anybody that knows me, they be like, that is so crazy because you don't even believe, you don't even do none of that, but you won't let nobody disrespect them because that's who you believe and that's what you believe. But I'm gonna tell you this, right? You can go to therapy and have Jesus in your life. It brings balance. If you've been doing if you've been going to church for any numbers of years, weeks, days, hours, minutes, and nothing has fucking changed in your life, it is time for you to do something different. Maybe switch up how you worship. Don't go to church every day of the week. Go to church on just Sundays. You need to switch it up. I literally was saying, you know how they describe the church as a hospital, right? It's a place where you go, you get healing, you get help, you get all of that, right? But if you go to the hospital and you're not getting what you're supposed to do, are you going to just go home and just be like, well, I tried? Or are you going to go to another hospital and see another doctor? Or are you going to see a specialist? I'm at the point in my life where I was just like, you know what? I'm not going another day. I wouldn't get out the bed. I'm not going another day carrying around shit that is not mine. I'm not carrying around this abuse. It's mine, but I'm not carrying around no more. That shit happened to me when I was decades ago. And I'm 40 years old, still walking around here like, oh man. No, that's not to say that you can't, it's going to always be with me. I'm telling you, it's going to always be with you. But if every time I had to quit that job because, my mama didn't know, we're not going to use that as excuses anymore. You're going to deal with your traumas. You're going to press pause and heal. And then you're going to be better. My mama didn't get me. You're not your mother. You are yourself. The shit that happened to you, you should learn from that. Learn from it. Don't become that. I said a couple of episodes ago, I have the biggest problem with hurt people. The biggest problem. Here's why I have the biggest problem. Because once you experience hurt, I don't know about you, but I'll talk about myself. When I experience hurt, the type of person I am, I don't want you to experience that hurt. I don't want you to experience any part of it. So I'm not going to turn around and experience the hurt and then just say, hey, somebody hurt me, so let me do it to you. No, the buck stops here. I'm going to do whatever the fuck that I have to do so that you don't experience that hurt. So right now on this Nurture Conversation podcast, I'm going to tell you, if you are hurting, press pause and heal. Don't hop into another relationship. Don't leave that job and go to another job. Don't discipline your kids because they look like their father and y'all had a really tumultuous relationship. Don't do that. Do the opposite. Do the opposite of everything you've been doing since 2022, 2021, 2020, your entire fucking life. In 2023, do the opposite. If your entire life you procrastinate, you say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that one day, do the opposite. When it drop in your mind, do it. If you, everybody nowadays is a perfectionist. Everybody, it gotta be right. Listen, I don't give a fuck about shit being right. Like y'all seeing me right now, y'all gonna see the transition from right here to where I want it to be. Y'all gonna see, y'all gonna go along on the process. And I hope that it inspires you to go from where you are to greater. I used to be one of those people like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I need to do all of this. And then I realized months would pass, weeks would pass, years would pass. And then it's like, dang, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. And I'm not living with regrets. No, no, no. 2023, I survived COVID. I survived the passing of my father, my mother. I survived a level 1 trauma surgery. I survived being told I had cancer. I survived a lot of shit. You think I'm going and be in 2023 and not do the shit that I want to do? It's a no for me. Y'all see, my traumas helped me realize who I am. The confidence, the persistence, it helped me. I don't look at it and be like, oh, I can't do this because no. I can do this because I can do this because I have a whole fucking podcast with 67 episodes where a whole podcast with 67 episodes, and it was just a thought that I wanted to do, that I felt like it will be successful. And it is being successful. My measure of success is one person. One person can hear something that I say and it changes them. I'm not trying to be out here to win a Grammy now. Winning a Grammy would be nice. But I'm not out here trying to win awards. I'm just trying to touch one person. You doing 67 episodes and you just want to touch one person? Yeah. Because if I touch that one person and one person will touch 10, and 10 people touch 100, 100 will touch 1,000, the next thing you know, we all good. So if I could just get one person, that's my level of success, just one person. If I could just get one artist to understand the concept of how they get paid when it comes to music, and understand that the moment your music is heard, that's when you start making money. If I could just get one artist, it'll change the course of the music industry. I'm telling you. It's going to change the course of the music industry. But that's all I got, y'all. Who would you be without trauma? Most people would be like, oh, I'd be a basketball player. I'd be rich. I'd be this. I'd be that. Would you really? If somebody gave you $100,000 right now, is it already spent? Or do you have an idea of what you would do with it? Or what would you buy? Would you buy the car? Would you buy the house? Would you buy the house? Like where you only have to pay the is it the taxes on it? Or would you put the money down on the loan so you'll have to pay regularly? Like what would you do? What would you do if you got $1 million? Can you handle $1 million? These are the questions that we should be asking ourselves. It's like everybody want to be rich, but can you handle that? And we're not even just talking about the money. The money, you could probably, oh yeah, I got the money. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about all the people that's going to come out the woodworks when they bought you a sandwich when you were 6 years old. The person that let you sleep on that couch now needs to be paid. We talking about all of that. We talking about the taxes that you're going to have to pay. We talking about all of the extra stuff that's going to come with you having $1 million. Are you ready for that? I was laughing because I told somebody, my life prepared me for where I am going right now, where I am at right now. My life prepared me for that. The shit that I endured in my life prepared me. If I had $1 million right now, I used to think when I was 18, I used to be like, man, I was singing, I was writing, I was recording, I was doing all of that. And all the people around me were getting signed to RCA, BMI. They was getting signed to all of these different major record labels and everything. It was touring, they was traveling all across the world doing all that. And I was like, I'm singing with these people. I'm writing on these people's things. How come I'm not when is my big break gonna come? And then when I got to 40, 42 to be exact, I looked back and I said, oh, I would have never been able to be a millionaire. I would have never. Every time Every time somebody came to me with a sob story about, man, I can't pay my rent, I can't pay my lights, I don't got no money. I was just, you would have thought I was balling. I mean, but I was just giving it because it was a sob story that got me every time. And as I got older, I was like, okay, wait, I see what people's doing because they know that I like to help. So they know that. So they're going to come and tell me. And it was just like, no. When I learned the word no, no. Then I became the most evilest person in the world. It's like, but all this time I was helping you, that was good. I knew it dawned on me like, no, I can't give you no $1,000,000 because you'll be broke. You will be broke. If I gave you $1,000,000 today, you will be broke. And it was right. I would be broke. I would have definitely been broke. But now it's a no, I'm not gonna be broke. I already know what I'm gonna do. I already know. I don't need a car because I got my 2001 Yukon XL. Runs like a charm. It's 2021. 2021. No, it's 2023. And it's a 2001. That's what I was trying to say. It's a 2001. And it runs like a charm. Well, not right now because I got a flat tire. But I'm going to get that taken care of in the morning. But it still runs. I don't need a house because there's already a house in the family. I'll just make sure that house is taken care of. And I would just, I was joking. I was joking with someone. They was like, I want you to help me with a business. I was like, can you send me a business plan, proposal, an outline of what you're trying to do? And I could possibly help you. Even when I talked to artists, I was like, could you give me an idea of your, goals, what you plan to do or what you want to do? If they don't have that, I can't work with you. I'm just supposed to jump in there and we're just supposed to figure it out together. I get it. I get it. But I'm 42 years old. I'm not just jumping into anything. I'm going to plan it out. I'm going to get it together. Even if the plan don't go all the way together, I'm going to have one. I got a vision. I got vision boards. Vision boards. And as I look at them, as I think about them right now at this second, I'm actually going to share it. I'm going to share it. I'll probably share it tonight. I'm going to go find it and I'm going to share it. Um, I'm happy. I am grateful for the traumas that I experienced in my life because it helped me get to this point that I am in right now. I have a Nurturing Conversations podcast. I am a content creator. I'm an influencer. I am a daughter, a sister, an auntie. I think the greatest thing out of all of those things for me is being an auntie. Because I am able to share my wisdoms, share my love, share everything that I have with future generations. And as I think about it, when I was growing up, being surrounded by older people, because listen, I'm going to tell you, if you don't know, I'm going to tell you the keys to it, right? Surround yourself with older people, people that's older than you, that has been through life, experienced some things, because they can tell you stories, and not just stories, like real life experiences. And it will help you. It will help you understand your purpose. It will help you understand. I remember I joke with my brothers. Um, my uncle, God bless his soul, God bless the dead, is the Reverend Dr. James G. White. And if you are in Wisconsin, you know who he is. Um, I was saying to my brother the other day what I wouldn't give just to have one of the lectures. Like we just had a conversation, but it's turned into a lecture. I say it was a lecture, but it was a real life, like life lesson. And he said something to me. He said, I'm so proud of you for going to therapy. He said all of the Fortune 500 female CEOs and presidents that I know went to therapy. And he said, I see you. And he said, you're going to do great things. And I said, Remember at the time I was in the midst of everything that I was going through. So I couldn't, that's what I was trying to say. I couldn't receive compliments. I couldn't receive adoration. I couldn't receive that. I didn't know how to receive any of that. So when he said that, it was like, okay, Unc. All right, I got you. So I released my first song, and my uncle showed me he downloaded it on his iPad, and then he passed away. And then now that I sit in the spot that I'm sitting and I'm looking at all of the different things that I've been able to accomplish in the midst of a global fucking pandemic, and I can hear my uncle's voice saying, "You're going to do great things." And I can receive that. I can receive that um, can do great things. I can I can receive that um, I have accomplished great things. I have I will be leaving behind a legacy whenever my time is up. And for me, that is the most important part about all of this. What are you doing it for? Why do you do it? Do you do it to shit on people? I really feel like a lot of people only get rich or get money so they can shit on other people. Again, that's just my personal opinion. I think people buy stuff not because they like it or not because they want it. They do it so other people can congratulate them or validate them or make them feel special. And that has a lot to do with our childhood. Again, that's just my opinion. If your childhood you weren't seen or your parents didn't acknowledge you, think about this, right? You ever think about how um, predators are able to get. You ever watched the show on Dateline? I'm pretty sure you've seen the show on Dateline where there are adult people going to a house thinking that they're going to talk to, thinking they're going to meet up with somebody that's young. You ever see how many people, you ever see the statue of those people? It be aldermen, city council people, it be pastors, it be deacons, it be like church um, officials, it be like teachers, it be like all kinds of people, right? You ever wondered how those people are able to get in? This is why I will always say, if you are a parent or a guardian or you are taking care of someone, always hug them, love them, kiss them, tell them how important they are, tell them how beautiful, tell them how handsome they are, tell them that you love them, you support them, you are encouraged by them, they inspire you, tell them all kinds of positive things. You should just do that. I can tell you a bunch of reasons why you should just do that. Number one, they were a part of you or living on the inside of you. They are a part of you. Never allow a religion, other people's opinions to separate you from the love that you have for your child. Never do that. I get it. The world wants to tell you that what God doesn't like and God said and all of those things. But if you go back and read it in the scriptures, read it. They said what Jesus said is in red. It's read it. It's in your Bible. Read it. Jesus himself is love. There is no way I'm going to say there is no way that your God that you serve will tell you to put your child out because your child does not identify. I know you didn't think I was going to have a conversation and not talk about gayness. There's no way that Jesus will tell you to abandon your child or disown your child. There's no way he will tell you to do that. He's going to tell you to disown your child but love the people that go to your church more than your own fucking child that came from your body. I will never believe that. Ever. Never in my life will I ever believe that. You walked around on this earth with that baby, that child growing on the inside of you, and you are going to allow someone who didn't carry it to tell you something? It's a no for me. It's a no. So how about this for 2023? You talk to your gay child, talk to your transgender child, talk to your child. Fuck what everybody else got to say about it because they're not in your household. They're not paying for your child to go to school. They're not buying your kids clothes. You, as a parent, should take the time to understand the thoughts that are in your child's head. Take that time. Take that time to understand that your child is a human being that has a brain that functions. I hear people all the time talk about, what do kids got to be stressed about? What the fuck do you mean? I remember when I could go to school. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me pull that back a little bit because I went to predominantly white schools. So I'm going to say this, right? There was a time when you could go to school and you didn't have to worry about if somebody was going to have a bad day or get picked on today, and if they was going to do something at the school. You didn't have to worry about that. You didn't have to worry about if you was going, I'm going to go, girl, I'm going to run over here to Walmart. You didn't have to worry about what was going to happen at the Walmart. You didn't have to worry about what was going to happen at the church. You didn't have to worry about what was going to happen at the grocery store, the daycare. You didn't have to worry about too much of anything. Now, when you wake up, when you go, I would say, previously I would say when you go outside your house, but now when you wake up and put your phone in your face or your computer in your face, now you got to worry about what's happening on the internet. And a lot of times, I said this to someone, I said, when things be happening, right, we try to like make it, people try to make it seem like it's strangers, it's people out there that's doing it, but a lot of time the shit that's happening to people is happening in their house, in their immediate family. It's their uncle, cousin, sister, brother. It's their fathers. There's their mothers. There's a story on Facebook about the young man, or he's an adult now, but he was saying how his mother and father started being the abusers to him and his sister. I'm sitting here thinking like, wait, what? Yes, mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, cousins, grandpas and grandmas be doing it to family members. And then family members got the nerve to say, what happens here stays here. Don't be telling our business. Fuck that. It's 2023. Tell that business. You've been holding on to that secret for so long. It's been damaging you. And you know it has, especially if you have kids. Now, if you have kids and you know that you were damaging that fucking situation, don't put your kids in that fucking situation. Don't do that. Don't do that to them kids. Don't do that to them teenagers. Don't do that. Change it. Change it. It's 2023. Let's start thinking more about people, thinking more about how people feel. Our real life people like, I don't know what kids got to be stressed about. They got a lot of shit to be stressed about. It's kids out here that's going to school that got on the latest Jordans and all that shit. And then they going around people who don't even have lunch money, lunch stuff. You ever wonder why your kids is taking extra sandwiches or extra chips or extra shit to the school? That's because somebody they hanging out with don't got that at home. I remember when they shut the schools down, I was like, I need to do something. I need to set up a program. How can I contribute to something where the kids that was going to school, that was their only meals. This kids literally going to school, that's their only meals. Literally. Some people, they don't have it. Some people just, listen, we got to start thinking about other people instead of just thinking about ourselves. I be thinking all the time. I be thinking all the time. All the time I be thinking, I be saying, you know what would I want to do? How would I, even when I thought about this podcast, it's like, what would I want to talk about? Shit, I want to talk about everything. I want to talk about people that's been molested and people then ask them, why did they choose you? Or who do you think you are? You think you somebody? All of the shit they used to say when I was younger days, oh, she's smelling herself and all that shit. I don't want to smell myself. I just want to go play with some fucking My Ponies. I want to be a kid. But now this shit happened to me and I can't even think like a kid anymore because now I'm thinking like an adult. It's like, how do I protect myself? I shouldn't be thinking about that. Parents, if your child comes to you and say somebody did some shit to you, I know it's probably hard for you to believe about the person that did the shit to them, but listen, do your due diligence and believe them. Fuck having a relationship with that person. Fuck all that. It's 2023. Fuck that. You are a grown person. Fuck having friends and relationships. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I do. If you are a parent and you dating somebody and they don't want kids, fuck them. Nine months, 10 months, 8 months, 7 months, however many months you walked around with that life growing on the inside of you, fuck them. You are a package deal now. If anybody that cannot take the package deal, they need to move around. If you are a parent, heal. Press pause and fucking heal. Heal so that you don't indirectly cash your problems and your issues onto your child, and now they have to deal with their fucking issues and your issues. How many times we don't heard people that's like, man, I don't want to play basketball. I want to play baseball. I want to play chess or something. But because their parents wasn't able to live out their lifelong dreams, now you got to live it. Maybe your child don't like basketball. Maybe they want to play football or soccer or baseball or hockey. Maybe they want to do something different. Have you ever stopped to ask your child what they want to do? Or if your child is in playing basketball, show them alternatives to playing basketball, because you know it's only like 45, 50, maybe 100 people that can go into the NBA. And there's like billions of people, millions of people on this world. So show them alternatives to just being a basketball player or a rapper, or show them alternatives. They could be a sportscaster. They can be a coach. They could be a team owner. I mean, they could be, it's so many different alternatives. Take your children out of the state that they are in. Take them on a plane, take them on a train, take them on a boat, take them outside of their, take them out of here. I'm saying here, but wherever you are, take them out of there. Expose them to, that's another thing. I'm going to talk about my mother for a minute, right? My mother, we were well traveled. By the time I was 10, 11, I was well traveled. Like my mother would take us, we went train rides to St. Louis, Missouri. We like spent so much time in St. Louis, Missouri. That was another place I was, but like my mother would take us on vacations. Take your child on, even if it's up to Wisconsin Dells or the water park by your house, take them somewhere. Just like you need a break. I gotta go on this. I need a break. Kids need a break too. Everybody, we all fucking need a break. If you've been around and been paying attention for these last 3 fucking years, we all need a break. I was telling somebody I'm going on a cruise this year. I don't know where I'm going. I'm going on a cruise this year. I need to get out of here, Wisconsin. I need to get out of the cold. I need to go somewhere warm, just to refresh. If you are watching this, if you are listening to this, if you are listening right now, or you come back and watch this, listen. It is 2023. You are a month and 5 days in. Do the exact opposite of everything you done last year. If you has-assed your way through last year, pick it up. I told somebody earlier today, I said, I just don't feel like making videos. I don't feel like making videos. I'm going to do shorts and reels, and then I'm just going to go live because I'm a live streamer. That's what I do. I like that instant connection that I get with people. The videos, it don't, I do them. I have a lot of them, but it just didn't feel right to me. And so now as I'm in 2023 and I'm in a different space in my life, the videos, the long form videos, now I will have them because I do live stream, and I will take my live streams, like you'll probably see this later if you're watching it, it'll be a video, but it's a live stream that's going to become a video on demand. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to do. So you will be getting more live streams. And I'm super excited to share them with you. This is something I thought long and hard about. I'm not going to say that you're not going to get videos, because you are going to get videos. I'm still going to do some mukbangs. I'm going to do some videos. I'm going to do videos about Discord. I got to do a new channel introduction video. So you're going to get some videos, but the largest bulk of my content for 2023 will be live streams. Because, we need that live every day. I'm not saying I'm going to be live every day, but I do be live every day. You'll know where I'm going to be live at. But it took me just doing it. It took me just doing it to be where I am right now, where I sit right now. I'm going to tell you more about it in a couple of live streams as this year goes on. Where I'm sitting right now, it took me just doing it. It took me going on a journey of healing, self-discovery, healing my childhood issues. It took me talking to my parents, understanding how that abandonment and rejection led me down a road of where I was doing all kinds of shit just to feel a part and just to feel wanted and needed. And when you come into the understanding of all the shit that you do, and then you get to be 40, and it's just like, holy shit, yeah, I'm not doing that no more. I did that, and it's a no. It's a lot of shit. I'm just like, no, it's a no. And when I say it's a no, everybody around me know when I say it's a no, that's a definite, she not fucking doing it, because it's a no. It's a no. I'm not tolerating disrespect. I'm not tolerating anybody's excuses. I'm not tolerating shit. It's 2023. I survived a global fucking pandemic. I was able to do some really awesome shit during a global pandemic, and you don't have half of the shit, none of the shit happened to you. Oh, you could do better. So in 2023, I'm requiring everybody to do better. You that you're listening and watching it, I'm requiring you to do better. That YouTube you want to start, and I keep saying YouTube because I'm on YouTube. That YouTube you want to start it. How do I start it, Shell? Pick up your phone. Yes, I said phone. You don't have to go out and buy you one of them really expensive cameras, because right now, if you got in your hand a iPhone 8 Plus or a Samsung whatever Plus, I'm pretty sure that you have a really quality camera. All you got to do is set your phone up. Hi, my name is what I'm going to do on my channel. This is the days I'm going to go live. Boom, you already got your first YouTube video. Then you can take that video, chop it up, put it on your Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Twitch, Snapchat, LinkedIn. One piece of content became 30 pieces of content. You done already got enough content for the rest of the month. Boom. With one video. You don't got to make an excuse if you don't know something. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. If you don't know something, ask. I'm so grateful I grew up in a family that was like, if you don't know something, ask. You know, you be in school and you want to ask the question, you want to ask the teacher the question, and you be like, oh, I don't want to ask it because then people going to look at me. And then somebody asks the question, you be like, oh, because I had that same. No, ask the fucking question. Somebody doing makeup or somebody doing something and you want to know how they do it, ask them. If they don't tell you, don't stop fucking asking. Ask until you get an answer. I would not be where I was right now if I had stopped asking questions a long time ago. No, I'll ask questions, and I'm going to keep on asking questions. All the shit y'all seeing right here, like, hold on, watch this. This is what I do if I need to take a break, but I'm still here. But this is what I do if I need to take a break. I was on somebody's live stream, and I saw them do that, and I was like, how did you do that? And they was gracious enough to show me. If you want to know how to set up your live stream, or you live stream, you want to know how to set it up, my information is it's on the screen. It's on the screen right there. And it's also in the description box below. Hit me up. I'll show you how to do it. The only way we're going to get better is if we help each other. I'll show you how to do it. We can make it work. I'm here to help anybody however I can in 2023. We survived a global fucking pandemic. A global. Like, to this very day, we are still in the global fucking pandemic. I'm helping everybody. If I could share my knowledge with you and you could share your knowledge with me, we could share it with each other and we both be better. I'm with all of that. I want to thank each and every one of you who have came, who will come, who will share this. I want to say thank you. And I also want to ask you, who will you be without trauma? Who are you without trauma? And that's not a bad thing. That's also a good thing. Like, who have you become? Have you become someone that's persistent? Have you become someone that uses your traumas as an excuse as to why you can't be great? Because that's what I used to do. I used to be like, yeah, I can't do that because, you know. And then I woke up and I was like, no, fuck that. I can do that. And I will do that. And then when we get to that point, if you go back and watch my YouTube videos, because you ever notice that when people become celebrities, they go back and find all kinds of shit. You know, when they were in the 8th grade, they find all kinds of shit. And I'm not removing shit. I'm leaving everything where it is. Because y'all going to have it first. You see what I'm saying? Y'all going to have it first. So y'all going to be like, I remember on YouTube when she started the Nurturing Conversation podcast, and now I'm going to be over here, doing what I'm doing. And then you're going to be like, damn, I remember. And I want you to remember, I want you to be here when I'm getting it out the mud. So when I get to the top and you be like, damn, I remember, I want you to see that. I want you to know that you've been along the journey with me. I want to say thank you to everybody who emailed me, text me, DM me, send me a Snapchat, a FaceTime, a Messenger. I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you. You probably just thought, well, I'm just doing it. I appreciate every one of those messages. They all came at the time where I needed them. Thank you. I hope that I have said something in this entire podcast that inspires you, encourages you, motivates you, even allows you to question yourself about some things. I hope that I said something. This has been a Nurturing Conversation podcast. Today's topic is, who are you without trauma? Remember that it is important for you to use your words, because that is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling and what you are thinking. I will never let a live video podcast, workout, short, anything that I present to you go out without me telling you to love yourself. That includes your faults, your fears, and your failures. Know yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. That still small voice, that loud voice, whatever it is that talks to you and tell you what you should not do, listen to it, because it will not lead you wrong. Listen to it. It is protecting you. Listen to it. And for the love of humanity, just be yourself. Why? Because you need you. I need you. This great big old world needs you to be who you were created to be. Not who we want you to be, so that you can feel loved. Because if anyone does not love, respect, or appreciate you for being authentically you, they do not deserve to be in your space. It's 2023. You are a month and 5 days into it. Send 10 toes down on your beliefs and how you feel. And anybody that can't rock with that, they, again, don't deserve to be in your space. Make sure you get your toiletries, non-perishable food items, water, disinfectant, set some cash money to the side. And if you are engaging in adult activities, make sure you wrap that shit up, because despite a global fucking pandemic, STDs are still on the rise. If you are outside, make sure you wear your mask, wash your hands, because COVID does exist. And we are in influenza season, and I just want you and your family to be safe. If you haven't already, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you leave me a comment and let me know anything you want to talk about. Hey, I'll talk about it on this channel. Let me know if I helped you, if I didn't help you, things I could change. Let me know. I'm only here to be better. That's all I got. Until next time, I love you. Peace.